Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Ina, your favorite online spiritualist. Okay, so I wanted to talk about some things today. I wanted to talk about what does it mean for someone to be a mirror? This is basically Earth 101. As a human being, we are all here to teach one another lessons. Every single relationship that all of us have in our life, from romantic to parental to familial to professional, okay? All of these relationships are showing us something. They are teaching us a lesson. And each person that we are in relationship with is a mirror. Okay. Now, for me, when I originally began to process this concept, that's when I realized that my perception of a mirrored image was skewed. I realized that. And I feel like I'm not the only one who may do that, who may think that because someone is mirroring me, that they are just like me somehow. Like we must walk the same, talk the same, like the same things. Like it's obvious, that we're mirroring one. And it's not like that. So like, for instance, just for an example, I'm going to use like a romantic relationship, right? So you're in a romantic relationship. You're wondering, let's say you're in a narcissist empath paradigm. And let's say you're the empath. If you're my collective, more than likely you were probably the empath. And if you're the narcissist, you're just cross-watching because you're nosy as hell. So you're the empath and you're in this relationship with this narcissistic person, right? And you're wondering to yourself, how could this be a mirror of me? So then that's when I realized, like, when we actually look at ourselves in the mirror, yes, the image does look just like you. However, it's on opposite sides as you. Okay. That represents opposition. You're looking to the left. Really, the image is looking to the right. Again, trickery, optical illusion. So a lot of the times when, especially if you're unawakened or you're still working through like a lot of like your more shadowy types of energies, it does sort of seem like you're not mirroring one another because you're like polar opposites. And that's like kind of what happens when we end up in a trauma bond. And when you're trauma bonded with someone, they are a reflection of the wound, that you're operating from within. So as an empath, you can feel everyone else's emotions. So you tend to be more of a people pleaser in your relationship. You're the one who sort of anchors everyone and holds them down and does everything for everyone. While the narcissist is the person who's there to take. You are a giver, they are a taker. That's the mirroring image there, because the one image on one side of the mirror looks like a giver. And you look in the mirror and you think, oh, that's the giver too. And then you actually like step into that person's world and realize, oh my God, this is like upside down land. You know what I'm saying? This person's a vampire. They take and they take and they take. And so I think it's very important to be aware that mirroring isn't always like a mimicking of something. Sometimes it can be like the polar opposite of what you represent. And then sometimes mirroring can be something being reflected back to you just how you are. Either way, the mirroring is showing up in these people that we deal with in our relationships and our lives. And all of it is to make us aware of something about ourselves that we are unaware of so that we can change it or heal it, so that you can do what we call ascend in your thinking, that is. Because remember, everything with spirituality has to do with the mind. So when you ascend, this is a mental thing. Your thinking is becoming higher. And we already learned that frequency is based on your thinking, which sets your vibration, which is your energy, and it it determines what we attract. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about mirroring and why it's necessary for us as human beings on the planet. The whole purpose of being here on the planet is to ascend to our highest and greatest self that we are set to see in this lifetime, as we are all learning lessons in different areas of our lives about different things. But the most important part about the mirroring, which is the lesson, the whole song and dance that we do in all these different categories of relationships is all about doing the tango. It's all about dancing with one another and learning the lesson. Sometimes when we're more karmic, we tend to be a little bit more karmic, especially if we're unawakened. These dances, the tango, these lessons can be quite harsh, very jarring and traumatic. For those of us who are awakened, we are more aware of what's really going on behind, the quote unquote matrix and things like that. We understand that there is a deeper sense and purpose to what's happening. So it allows you to move a little bit different and allows you to use wisdom. I know when I was growing up, wisdom seemed like an old lady thing, not an old man thing, but an old lady thing, And I feel like it's something that everyone should embrace, this old lady thing called wisdom. I feel like it's something that men and women and children need to really embrace this energy, because it really helps things to go more smoothly in your life. But back to my original thought about the mirroring. And one of the biggest things it does, it shows us what we don't know about ourselves that we should know. So it makes us aware of things, behaviors that we have that we are totally unaware that we have. And we can't change these things about ourselves. We can't course correct. We can't reprogram our thinking if we're unaware that we're doing something that could potentially harm the outcome that we want for ourselves in our life. So in this mirroring that we do in these relationships that we have, is allowing the subconscious mind to communicate to the conscious mind. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the shadow becoming aware, the light becoming aware of the shadow, or the shadow becoming aware of the light. Is kind of how it is. Like the shadow would be the subconscious mind, the things that we have in the back of our mind that stems from trauma, a lot of the times from when we were children. And these things have gone unaddressed. We haven't checked these things, and we're still living from that place and manifesting from this place. Please keep that in mind. And which a lot of the time can lead to a victim mentality, because people tend to feel like, intentionally, like in their conscious mind, they feel like they want the best. They're doing the best thing for them and everyone involved. However, they never really get the outcome that they're looking for, or that they may even feel they deserve. And a lot of the times it's because there are things in our subconscious mind that have gone unchecked for too long. So then you really want to anchor in on those relationships. And a lot of the times, in order to even see our shadow, we have to allow communication and feedback, like positive criticism, because if a person expresses something to you, you're able to discern if this person is being overly critical, or if this is just one of your flaws. It's a shadow aspect of yourself that you have accepted and you're okay with that. So either that person can get with it or get lost, or you actually realize that you have some sort of negative thinking pattern that you were unaware of, that you might want to put that in check, just to help your relationships be more flow more smoothly, and helps with any manifestations that you may have, because anytime where something's being mirrored back to us, it's we should pay attention to it. But another thing that I love is, on the flip side, is sometimes things are mirrored back to us, but it's all the things that we love. And can you imagine being in relationships, being in situations with people, places, and things, and everything that you're experiencing, for the most part, like everything that you're experiencing is just, it's what you want. It's what you desire. And this is like what we will hear some people refer to as the flow state. This can only happen, though, when we dump as much shit out of our subconscious mind as we can possibly muster up. That's a lot of healing for some of us, more than others. You know what I'm saying? But that's a lot of healing work. That can take years sometimes to clear these things out. And a lot of people who you hear do therapy, and this is my personal opinion, a lot of people who do therapy, especially those who've done it like, long term, they've been doing it for years, that's simply shadow work. But maybe you don't have like a huge budget to pay a psychotherapist, or whoever, a psychiatrist or whatever, then you can just do this by being observant of yourself, just becoming aware of the fact that you simply want to be aware of any negative patterns that you may be playing out. Once you set that intention, you will begin to notice. At first, it'll start off kind of slowly, and you'll be like, oh, because you haven't perceived it yet. It's kind of like telling your brain to like zero in on the first big red dog you see, but you don't really know what it would feel like if you saw a big red dog, because you've never seen one before. So it's like once it comes into your awareness the first time, and the second and the third, after that, it'll be a little bit more easy to spot, or you'll realize what's going on sooner, than later, once you do that enough times. But I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there. I just wanted to come on with you guys and talk about a couple things having to do with spiritual stuff, because we are spiritual people. For me, myself, I'm very, very, very spiritual. So let's do like a story time. I'll do a story time with you guys. So I have been a spiritual person my entire life, but I was never raised in a spiritual environment or household. I wasn't around spiritual people, not how I am, And so I was introduced to Christianity and things like that. But moreover, I've always had an interest in like esoteric knowledge my whole life, but was so nervous to really explore and really get into it. But it's something that I've studied like my entire life. And it's only like once I became an adult and really began to step into my power and express myself, did I really learn that, this was truly like for me. Like this was something that I really felt and feel called to do. And it's something that comes very natural for me as well. And so it very much is like a way of life. So when I come on and I read tarot, like that's something, it's a practice for me. It's not just something I do because I'm online doing it for you guys. It's something I do when I'm not online. It's truly divination, or any kind of practice, it would be divination. Anything that we do to help really tap into our intuitive nature. I feel like I have an interest in all those things, because there's always messages, I feel like, especially for those of us who really resonate as spiritual people, sensitives and intuitives. I think it's important to know our symbolic history too, as far as symbols and things like that, and signs, because these our ancestors wrote with these types of things before we ever had this odd alphabet that looks a lot like runes. So you know what I'm saying. But anyway, you guys, I'm gonna let you go. If you like the reading, make sure you hit that like button. Okay? If you like my vibe, if you like the way I read energy, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. And like I always say, you guys, use your best judgment, which is your intuition. And I will see you guys in the next one.